Okay, hey guys. So this is a recorded version of the workshop that I recently gave on digital for small businesses and using social media to build communities. So the reason why I'm recording this again is because the audio cut out. So for the first few minutes is going to be me talking to you guys over a couple of slides, and then it will jump into the actual workshop footage. So here we go. So first things first, a little bit about me. I'm an e-commerce business owner, I'm a community builder, and I've built a community of about 20,000 people across socials and website. I've been a corporate marketer for over 15 years, and I'm a big data nerd. I'm consistently learning, testing the dials, trying different strategies, and looking at what the data is telling me so that I can bring those strategies forward in my business. I have worked for a couple of big brands, as you can see on the screen, and the main thing here across all of my corporate experience is that I was always, if I'm completely honest, a bit of a fish out of water, right? Because I was always the person that was testing and learning and looking at the data and trying to, and banging my head against the wall to say, why aren't you listening to me? The data is telling me this, right? Which is why I think entrepreneurship really works for me, because I know that I can make one tiny change, test that, see if that works, learn based on the data and instill more of that in my business, right? And I couldn't do that in corporate. But what corporate taught me was the basic fundamentals in marketing and social media that I can then take to you guys to help you in your small businesses. So a little bit of my journey through photos. On the left-hand side, this is where I started. So Christopher was in his little pouch and probably about 6 weeks old here. And this was me uploading a video, I think it was, to my social media channels. At this point, I didn't really know that I was marketing, right? All I knew was that I had spent hours learning this new crafting technique and I wanted to share what I had made and what I had learnt. So all I was doing was sharing my journey online and what I was making in my, very messy study with the dog under the chair and the bathrobe on the floor, right? But what I was doing at this point was just capturing the content, capturing the videos, and a lot of that was time lapses because it was the easiest thing that I could do. And posting that online. And slowly but surely I was building a following, and I really didn't know that I was doing it. But again, all I was doing was sharing. So I outgrew my study, and the second photo is of me with my one package with still Christopher on my back in his little pouch. As I was kind of sharing my content, you could see that I was growing my audiences and I was starting to get orders. And one order turned to many orders, as you can see in the next photo, where I had shelving now put in the garage where all my stock was, and it allowed me to buy bigger and more items so that I could help service my community. So obviously I took over the garage, and then I started buying bigger lots, so I needed more space to house these. So I moved myself into a storage unit, and this was partly because my husband was not happy with boxes being everywhere, so that I needed to find new space. And then I moved from my storage unit to a 3PL company, which basically means that they house all my stock in this massive warehouse with a whole lot of other companies. And they pick and pack my orders so that I don't have to physically do them myself, right? And then after that, I found myself on the ABC News, speaking out and representing other small businesses to talk about the Optus outage and talking about how the Optus outage affected our journey as a small business owner. But throughout my journey, the one thing that was common across all of this was that social media and digital marketing took me from my stuck in one order on the left-hand side to 3PL and beyond on the right-hand side. And I am so grateful that I have the skill set here that I can now show you on how to get from here to there. Okay, so now we're going to go into this workshop and what we will accomplish today. What I hope you will leave with is a solid content plan, or at least an idea on how to build a content plan. I want you to leave with knowing what works. So what I want to do is take what I know from my corporate experience and also my business experience, and to literally copy and paste that into your business, right? I want you to know what works. I want you to leave with content ideas and a solid content plan. I'm going to give you the hacks. So I know we are small business owners and we have no time to do marketing and to do all of this stuff. And Short of having armies of people doing it for us, we need to do it ourselves. So I'm going to give you the hacks on what to do and how to do it so that you are confident enough to take it and run with it. And I'm also going to show you how to read your analytics and how to show you what numbers matter and how to know if something is working so that you can do more of it, basically. So let's jump into what is social media and what is digital marketing. So social media is basically the front line of community engagement. And basically that means it gives you an opportunity to talk directly to your customers or to your community that will soon become your customers. Digital campaigns and social media are about nurturing relationships and nurturing communities, right? When someone finds you, they're a stranger, and when hopefully they stay in your community and they become a customer or a valuable member of your community, an active member. Platforms allow your customers to find you, and the way that we grow our communities is by nurturing that community so that they stay, right? Social media and digital marketing is about growing communities, right? You want them to start off as a stranger and stay in the community as long as you are giving valuable information to them, right? Social media is not about being a loudspeaker. It is not about standing there with your loudspeaker and your megaphone trying to instill your messages to them, right? This is the biggest mistake that small business owners do. It is not about Social media is not a billboard. Social media is not a resume. It is not social media is not a magazine where you take the largest ad possible and hope that everybody sees it, right? You kind of get what I'm saying here. It's not a loudspeaker where you need to shout at the top of your lungs in order for your message to get through. It is not that. It is a nurturing platform where people choose to spend their time with you. So we need to use it wisely, and we need to bring value, but also be relatable so that they stay along for the ride and follow you on the journey. Okay, so I'm going to throw now to the workshop because at this point my technical issues fixed itself. So let's jump into that. Sorry. Right, so data. I am, as I said, I'm a data nerd, right? So these stats probably won't surprise you. And this is probably about 3 months old now, so probably a little bit out of date. Normal average time spent on social media is 2.5 hours-ish, probably more. 40% of the waking, so the normal user spends 40% of their time online. I'm talking about everything, not just social, right? So you think about it, if we sleep 8 hours, and then that 40% of the day is spent online, right? So all that is opportunity for you to tap into that audience and nurture that audience from here to here, right? Here being, they don't know who you are, to over there being converting customer, member of your community, right? The usage. So 95% is on Facebook, kind of. It's debatable. 31% on Instagram, 24% on LinkedIn. Again, this data is out of date because Threads dropped. Do you guys know about Threads? Yeah. So Threads.
Somewhere. What's it called?
So it's like Twitter, but it's owned by Instagram.
Oh yes, it's on Instagram.
Yeah. So and Threads is really interesting because I had a stat in there, but the usage, like it literally took 2 hours or something like that for people to get 1 million users. And you look at Netflix took a year or 2 years or something. ChatGPT took a couple months to get 1 million users, and Threads did it in a couple hours because Instagram made it so easy to convert, and it was trending, and everyone was like, "Better jump on," So they got on. But now you're seeing a drop because the adoption curve didn't happen, right? So people don't know how to use it, right? So they're like, "Yeah, I've got this shiny new thing," but then it's down here because no one's really using it, right? So then everybody's like, "Oh, okay, I'll try it," and then you'll see the usage come up again. But everyone, like me, it's just got it sitting there, right? Yeah. So again, take the data with a grain of salt, but you look at your data when we start pushing content and that type of thing, then you'll know what works for you. Right. Okay. Now I kind of said this before, but people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Simon Sinek, we know Simon Sinek, Golden Circle, start with why. Yeah. Yes. And that is really resonates and should be the center of your social media strategy. Your strategy plan, whatever it is that we're doing, right? If you leave today with anything, it's the people don't buy what you do. So again, product is not what you're pushing. It's not. It's you. Who are you? What's your story? You know, what's the trouble that you're having? The story about my very expensive shipping bill. My TikTok, it's going to be my TikTok video for today. I literally just happened this morning. Anyway, so yes, so the story is you as a business owner. So if it scares you to come on camera and to talk on camera, there are ways to do it without speaking. You don't need to all of a sudden.
You can get the voiceover thing. So if you don't like your voice,
Voiceover, time lapses, yeah.
That changes your voice
On TikTok, it's great. There's an alien one and a kid one. Anyway, we'll have all the hacks. But yeah, so there are ways for you to be there and still communicating with your community and just not on camera. You don't have to be front on, right? But the main thing here is that every single post that you push out needs to have this. Why are you in business? Who are you? And yes, there is an element of sales, but it's not the forefront. It's almost like an 80-20 split. 80% is your journey, who you are as a business owner, etc. 20% is that sale, the hard call to action sale, right? Okay. Now, I kind of talked to this already, but selling without selling, right? So there's three things that we need to talk about here. People want to hear from people. So what is your story? They want to see less product. Yes, less product has to be. And there's multiple touch points. So it's there's the latest stats say about average 7 times that one customer needs at least 7 times, probably more, before they're comfortable enough to buy from you, right? 7. Yeah, let that sink in for a second, because that means that we have to fuel the beast. So, right, okay. So, old school thinking is you see an ad or a social media post or whatever it is, you land on the website or whatever your touch point is. It might be a sales meeting, it might be walk into your store, etc. Then the person buys. This is old school, real old school thinking, right? When you think about 7 touch points, so I'm going to trip on this cord. This is the ecosystem, and this might be a little bit scary, and some like bigger companies have more touch points, but yours might look like this, right? The outside circles are entry points. So someone might find you from social, they might find you from a Facebook group, they might find you from a lead magnet, Google Ads, PR in my case, right? So they would find you from any one of those touch points. They might go from social post, they might find you a blog, they might go back to social, blog again, back to social, Facebook group. You get what I'm saying, right? There's a web. There's always going to be multiple touch points. They might go from social, might go find your podcast, they might come back, go to PR, come back. You get what I'm saying, right? It's this massive web of, they say 7, but it's way more than that, right? Because they don't trust you, they have no idea who you are. And also, there are many people out there doing this, right? So it's so noisy that they don't know who you are and what you're about, right? So this ecosystem, and this is a perfect example of how my marketing funnel works. Because chances are they'll find one of my crafting videos or one of the videos that I've outsourced to my ambassador group, which are all crafters. They find that, they might like that, they might binge watch all of them, they might not, they might go off somewhere else, right? Then they might land on my website and be like, oh, I like that product. I don't like that product, I'm gonna bounce, right? Then my ads will capture them because they've captured them as, on my website for X amount of time, come back to social. They might join my Facebook group after that. You get what I'm saying, right? They might read a podcast, they might come to an event, they might read my EDM, they might then all of a sudden, oh, she was on ABC, which is a big thing for me, right? So it all kind of ends up, they might have 10 of these and then end up here, right? So you can kind of see that this linear is not the case anymore, right? So our social content needs to do its job. It needs to do its job of taking somebody through all this to here. Right? And that's probably what we're missing when people are not converting. You get me? Yeah.
I feel like that builds trust.
Totally.
There's so
That's
many
trust.
So we need the ecosystem to build trust.
Yes. So that 7 touch points is bringing you from stranger to paying customer community member, right? And along that way is that trust. You might get the odd unicorn that's like, oh, I like that. Bypass all of this. Yeah. So you know what I mean? But there is no straight path. So the data will tell you how much reach you have, how much engagement you have, how many people landed on your website, how long they spent, blah, blah, blah. It's us knowing what all that means and what can you do to move that. I have Hotjar set up on my website. So basically it's heat mapping. Do we know what heat mapping? Hotjar. So basically it's a bit scary. It screen records the user on my website.
Really? So you
Yeah.
can see how
It's anonymous, yeah. So like for example, I had a link broken and someone was trying to click on it. I'm like, why can't they push through? Right? I wouldn't have known if I didn't have Hotjar set up and watching it. So it's kind of weird that I'm stalking, right? But that information is there. I don't know who the person is. Okay, let's do. I'm not going to turn up at their house being like, no, that's no. I saw your face and I was.
Does it go through the camera?
No. It's a screen record. So it's anonymized.
It's not
It's your screen. It's not your. No. It's watching your behavior.
So what size do you
Cookies. We've heard of cookies.
Your website.
Yes, your data.
Record them doing other
It's not recording them. Let's be clear, right?
other stuff.
I think I freaked out everybody by that. But it's the clicking, it's the behavior, right? So if they're clicking here and they can't get through and they're getting rage clicking, they call it, and then they bounce and then I know that there's a problem. There's a problem on our website. What is my issue there? Or if people are getting to the cart and not putting their order through, why? Shipping cost is too high. Was it out of stock? You know, all of that information, all that data is there. I just need to troll it and decipher it, right?
So how do you put something like that on?
Hotjar, you literally just install it. You go to hotjar.com, I think it is. There's a free version. There's a couple of those now. I can't remember them off the top, but yeah, Hotjar. There's a code, you put it on your website and the website will do it.
So just do it to the
Yeah.
website.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can do that too. But it's literally just a couple of clicks. If you
website tracking.
Hotjar, heat mapping. Heat mapping.
So then do you have to?
No. I think it's code. You put in the code. Yeah.
So then does that need to be announced on the website?
Nope. It's part of your privacy policy. Well, it should be anyway. It's cookies, right? Yeah. It's part of cookies. Okay. So as we were saying before, there's at least 7 touch points before trust is built. And if you're anything like me in a cost of living crisis, and when your brand is not an essential, right? It's hobbies, right? It's longer. It's longer than 7 touch points. And most of the time I find that, Shopify tells me this person first visited your site, I don't know, 6 months ago, and then I have only converted this time, right? So I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I have Black Friday sale, launch that early. That's the reason why. It's a cost of living crisis. They are much more attuned to what my offer is before they're ready to purchase, right? So looking at that, my content should be around building that trust. Am I the thought leader in the space? How do I make it as if they can combat this cost of living crisis? So I'm doing like marketing content. I'm like, what to do when you go to a market and you want to sell all your stuff. Like, help them, nurture them to get to a point where they're a customer. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So for a customer to purchase, everyone is at different stages. So you can see why it's a web and why it's an ecosystem, right? One person might only have 1 touch point, one person might have 100, right? But your content needs to accomplish all of that, right? Cater to all of those audiences. Right. Do we know about the funnel already? Yeah? Sales funnel? So basically, it's a sales funnel. So people go through 3 different stages before they're ready to convert, make their decision or purchase, right? So I said this before, but would you propose to someone on the first date? You wouldn't, right? So everyone starts off in this awareness phase, right? Once they know who you are, then they'll move into consideration. And once they're comfortable with that, they'll purchase, they'll make a decision or book a meeting or whatever it is that you do. People can go in between these stages at any time, and some people can skip, right? Someone in here who has never met me today might say, Debbie, I need more help. Then turn into a decision straight away. You don't know. Or someone might go back, you don't know, right? So social and all of the touch points in that ecosystem needs to bring everybody through this. Does this make sense? Yeah. So what I'm getting to is some content will be awareness, some content will be consideration, some content will be decision. And it should be that 80-20 split. This bit is 80% and this bit is 20. Don't ask for the sale until you know that these people have passed this awareness consideration phase. Or at least most of the people in your community, yeah? Right, okay. Okay, so this is probably in your mind, right? Like, okay, Debbie, I get it. I need more content. But how? I have no time. Yeah? Does it sound familiar? It's scary. I don't know what to do. I have a phone. I don't know how to use the social. All of that. We're gonna get to that. So the trick here is to build content creation into what you're already doing, right? If you know you have a meeting, put your camera up and do a time lapse. If you know you're going to Australia Post to drop off a thing, take a video of Australia Post. I literally took a video of me getting out of the car, walking around here, right? And setting up and having all the tech issues. I took a video of that because at the end of the day, I'll do a wrap-up.
That's funny because that's exactly what I've been doing today.
Totally.
Starting with photos this morning and a video.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and just remember that the people want to know you. They want to know your story. So day in the life of content.
Yeah.
Some TikTok channels literally exist to only do day in the life of. Literally, it's all they do. 5-second clips of everything. Build it together, right? So to build the content creation around what you're doing, then it's not so overwhelming. You don't need to stop everything and be like, okay, I need a video today. What am I going to video about? No, you look at your diary. Okay, I've got this meeting. I've got this errand I need to do. I've got this. Okay, what's my content for today or next week or whatever it is? Yeah? Does it become less overwhelming that way? Yeah? Right, okay. Content pillars. Pillars is a fancy word of saying buckets or subjects, right? These are the types of things that when you're stuck for ideas, come back to this, right? Behind the scenes content, I've made these in different colors because this should be the bulk of your content. Behind the scenes stuff. If you only post one video this week, make it a behind the scenes video, right? What are you about? What are your values? What is your history? What is your public persona? You know what I mean? I say that because not everybody wants to show their kids or, what they're having for dinner or, public persona is my way of saying that. Amplify and comment on news stories. If you don't want to do you don't have, it's a quiet day, you're not really having any meetings, go to news.com, see an article, comment on that article. So TikTok has a green screen feature. You literally take a screenshot and a camera on, or you could do voiceover, right? And say, this annoys me because blah. Yeah?
Sorry, I didn't get
Yeah,
that.
what was that?
My rage. No, this article annoys me because
Oh, yeah.
XYZ. Show your thought leadership why.
Yeah.
And you can, like, I could probably put up my duties invoice.
Yeah.
Or my email.
Sorry.
Oh my God, be careful when you're recording it.
Yeah, totally.
But
Right?
that's cumbersome.
It is. Or just put it in the caption. Put a screenshot. Right? Write your caption. Post. It's about volume. 7 touch points for every single person, right? And if you want 1 million customers.
So do we have to have 7 touch points? Like
It's okay.
if we're going to cut back, if we want to do one man band overwhelmed, too many things happening.
We're getting there.
What's the essential?
We're getting there. Right? You can schedule this. So you could schedule a whole lot of content in half an hour through Canva. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second.
You can